first question, this is definitely the first question I had when you showed me that. What is it about? What is Kill Boy Kill about?
Well, the feature film is about a exonerated ex-con who, became a comic book artist, right? And he lives a life completely isolated. Even though he's no longer in prison, he lives an imprisoned life. Only his art is his only friend. He only deals with people online. He's lives in a time soup of weed and coffee, right? So it's just 24 hours a day. It doesn't matter time, day, whatever. He is only working on his project, and he has no life outside of it. And that is kind of like his founding moment. The reason why he went to jail is he was in the middle of getting a beating from his dad, passes out, wakes up, finds his dad murdered, and he's the only one there. So he has no idea, he doesn't remember what happened. So he made a comic book about this idea that somehow he was saved by some demonic creation. And then the comic book that he creates out of this experience is about a boy who puts himself in danger. And every time he's in danger, the demon comes out and starts slaughtering corruption, regardless of earthly power, place, or timing. And in the way the character Max does his research is he does a lot of dark web research about real crimes and real corrupt people, and he incorporates that into his comic book, Kill Boy Kill. But, in Max's zeal for the vengeance story, he has never healed from the abuses. He's abandoned by his mom, abused by his father. He becomes a ward of the state abuses him. The reason why he gets out of jail is because a lawyer decides that, or figures out that there was a pay for placement scheme with a judge in a private prison. So, he has nothing in this world that says, I love you. All he has is your ability to process. You are a way for me to guarantee people in the justice system have a paycheck, right? So he is obsessed with this idea of getting justice virtually and finding ways to attack the system over and over again. But that doesn't leave much for a life, right? In the script that I'm going to be presenting tonight, which I converted a short film of the first act of the feature, to a beautiful neighbor moves in next door, and she has a son, and he starts getting the idea of like, what if I could have a life? And his art doesn't like that. His art starts attacking him. the kill character starts showing up.
So that's something I wanted to touch on, because first of all, I'm really excited for this live act, because this was something that we were talking about to me before I even saw the thing.
Right.
I think a powerful element that I really want to ask more about in just the short film itself is obviously there's a lot of layers to this film, because there's a supernatural element to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a comic element
Mm-hmm.
to it. So there's literally difference in mediums.
Yes.
And that's something that as an artist, I think people that create in general think about that, contrast in mediums. So it's whether it be film, contrasting, taking pictures of difference between painting and doing more projection stuff. But this film has so many different physical layers to it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's animation on top of it. There's actual live acting. So I want to hear what is the role of the different types of like filming in there.
Right.
It's like, does the animation like mean something separate than the actual real?
Well, I mean, it breaks a lot of rules of filmmaking. Like it's all internal conflict, right? He's not in conflict with anyone else. I mean, not really. He has no sense of reality.
Right.
So his reality is his art. So when he's working on his art, he's obsessed about his art, and so that translates into him seeing the world through that lens all the time. His only company is the characters he's created. And flat to him, because he doesn't have people that he interacts with.
Did you have any inspirations? Did you have any films that you thought of?
Yeah. Cool World is one of my favorite films. I mean, it has a terrible third act, but I love the interplay, Brad Pitt and the wild animation characters. The Art Fleischman aspect of it. Ralph Bakshi's a personal hero of mine. Roger Rabbit comes to mind. I loved that film when it came out. About animators in that film that come out. This 1970s and early 80s B films. It's kind of it's a love letter to grindhouse cinema and B films that have like these grandiose concepts but really low budgets, right? Like how do you make magic happen on $10? You got to be a really good show.
Okay, I'm going to ask you 2 more questions. The second one will probably be shorter. But
sure.
The first one. I want to know about sort of like the first, because I've already asked you this once before, and
it's a wild story.
Yeah, it was a wild story. And so I think this is something that really impacted the way that I looked at film afterwards. So I think it's worth talking about, like kind of where did this journey start, and how did you get to where you are now with it? Because it's a lot of work, like looking for funding and like casting and getting past that script phase.
Yeah. Like I have. I have ADHD and all that. But I was in film school 21 years ago. And I had a dream that was like Tenacious D, this is the greatest song in the world, except for the film. And I woke up from that dream, and the only thing I took from the dream was Kill Boy Kill. And I go, oh, I gotta write this. And I started writing it, and then my computer crashed, and I lost everything. And then I couldn't rewrite it. Mostly stuff like that. And about 2 years ago, I got laid off from what was supposed to be my penultimate career, and my entire life fell apart. Like everything that I had been planning on had gone away. Like this film's not autobiographical. All right, I want to get that out of the way. Me and my dad have a great relationship. I was abandoned by my mother, but that has, that has some shaping in it. And I've raised. Part of what was the impetus behind this was at the time that I was getting out of film school, I was looking at LA and New York and working rotoscoping on a film in LA for $30,000. Like if you know anything about LA, $30,000 is nothing, right? So I'm like going, am I going to sacrifice my family so that I can be the artist I want to be? And so I did, right? I went to small markets. I've built a career out of, being scrappy and smart, and been able to make narrative films and documentaries and all that other stuff. Right? So, but when I lost everything and I was crawling into my private hell for a while, this film came back. And I was sitting in a room that was the room I dreamed about. And I was sitting in front of a laptop in a metal chair that was killing my back, and I go, it's time to fucking write this thing. And so I did, like I haven't, I'm blessed with an experience Come on in, come on in.
You guys are fine.
So, with that blessing, I want to make this thing real, right? Like, I want artists to understand that you can have a life, you can have your art. Yes, there are ways to make it work, but also I think we're confused about how do we find love? How do we make connections? What is it about having that kind of brings between these two things? So.
Okay, last question. So I'm going to tell a little story first as a precursor to the question.
Please.
So I've done one animation my entire life, and it was a stop motion animation, all these little cutouts. And the story was about this kid that goes to the spinning machine and he puts a coin in, and it goes through, and you see every coin bounce, and then at the very end, this big like Cthulhu tentacle comes up and grabs it, and eats it, and the kid is getting super frustrated, right? And he puts more money in, and then eventually he goes to kick it, but then he turns around, and I had this scene that he runs up to the vending machine and just judo kicks it, and then right as he goes to kick it, the tentacle comes out. And it's the end. And I spent probably 2 weeks.
Oh wow, that was fast.
I know, but in my in high school when I made it, I was like, oh my god, this is so taxing, and I've spent 8 hours today moving this thing around. And when I finally finished it, and I did this in school because I went to art school. When I presented it, it was 9 seconds. 9 seconds long. Insane that people can never comprehend the
How much effort it was.
Yeah, the amount of drawing, the amount of painting, the amount of cutting out. So I have one question for you. How many hours of drawing do you think you have in this project?
Oh, that was about 48 hours.
Just that?
Yeah, straight draw. And thankfully a friend of mine made the horns, and I glued them to my head, and I hired a makeup artist to spray paint me. All of that. Because I needed that to be able to make it work. Part of that short, it's not really supposed to be a self-contained story. It was a test on how to make the movie work. How am I going to make Kill work?
And you rotoscoped this, correct?
Yeah. I took we filmed the angle, and I exported it out as single images, about 425, and then I hand drew every frame over top of it, and then I had. So in animation, you work on frames per second, so 24 frames per second if you're doing standard film style, 30 frames per second if you're doing video. This was 24 frames a second, but I did it on 2s. Most Japanese animation is done on 3s. So I'm a little bit more expensive than a Japanese anime, but I'm still cheaper than Disney. So it's kind of that was the process.
I think that's a great way to sort of end this interview. The act, and then after I'll let you sort of give a short excerpt on how to fund your film, and where to get t-shirts and the website and all that. But yeah, I like that line. So I think that's a great way to end it.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do, I'll let you kind of explain this.
Yeah, sure. So basically this is, I have some actors who are gonna read some parts. I had more actors for them not to be here. But it's, we'll go ahead and bring the cast up. young Danny, who was the boy in the short film, he's going to be playing Topher tonight. Hopefully that'll become self-explanatory. I have Angie, who's going to be playing Cecilia tonight, and Leah's going to be playing Dahlia, the podcast host. I will be playing as Max and Kill and reading narration. So we shall begin. Let's frame the scenario.
Do you need me to play any like music or anything? Like I can look up like.
Let's not add another.
Yeah, all right.
Let's not add another. So far tonight, we've had many layers that have failed us. Let's just ride it raw dog.
Hopefully, it's all up for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to turn up the joy. It's basically the nightmare that he has every night. Max. That same scene plays over and over in his mind, and it wakes him up. Particularly just the beating part at the beginning of the film. So, yeah, and we'll just go from there. I am wise open, alone in bed, shirtless, ridges with sleep paralysis. A horn shadow is cast over my form. I am home, I am grown, I am free. I am home, I am grown, I am free. I am home, I am grown, I am free. The shadow pulls back. I relax slowly. No more sleep tonight. I get out of bed and immediately start doing calisthenics.
I woke you. You need to draw more knees.
Kill, I have an interview today to promote the book. I feel incomplete when I'm just pencils. It's worse than being blobby thumbnails. Talk to some stupid podcast, waste time. Readers won't buy the book if they don't know about it. I'll finish inking a little now and then stop when it's time for the interview. I put on a shirt, sit at the drafting desk. I begin dipping my ink brush, moving in clean line motions over non-photo blue pencil lines. I do a little cross-hatching to shape the contours of my characters, fill in the white spaces to build in depth. A computer alarm sounds.
Near my face.
Genius! Shrugging, I put on a kill face mask. He's got lots of tchotchkes around. Gotta rep the merch. Podcast host Dahlia appears, seems unbothered by the mask. She's on Zoom. Good morning, mind if I wear my merchandise for the video interview?
But if it's questions about your comic and illustration style, then we talk a little bit about your real world life. I edit the whole thing, deliver it to our audience, and link it to your comic profile in our digital store.
Sounds good.
Great. Okay, I am getting the recording set up. 1 second.
Dahlia seems to be fiddling around with her equipment. I take a sip of coffee. Dahlia's on Zoom, trying to get my attention.
Max, I'm recording.
Pull my attention away from the art on the desk to focus on Dahlia. Oh, sorry, I only ever seem to be able to focus on my drawing. My apologies. Did I miss any questions?
Yes, I did, and I have been trying for the last 10 minutes. Okay, 2, but I can edit that part out. I asked what your comic is about, and the title is pretty provocative. Kill Boy Kill.
Ah, yes, that's the title. But it's about Kill. The character is a manifestation of Killboy. He's forever a 12-year-old. And harms to protect him. And that's spelled D-A-E-M-O-M, as in a spirit of knowledge, not a demon as in a fallen angel.
Like Frankenstein's monster was not called Frankenstein. That was the mad scientist's name. But why is the title not not Killboy and Kill?
Oh, because the name was easier as killboykill.com.
Fair enough. Where do your stories come from?
Well, I love a good vengeance story.
Well, what about inspiration then?
I mean, when I was wrongfully imprisoned as a kid for my dad's murder, I had a couple guards who took me under their wing, occasionally brought me comic books when they were done reading. I'm distracted by some banging noises. So kill.
So Killboy is inspired by your childhood. That's really
When I was a kid. When I started Killboy Kill, Dixie Cartel. That's the first one. It's written from vigilante boogeyman stories I heard from other guards and inmates, blended with some crime stories. I try to roll in real situation in my fictional Carolina locations.
Whoa, so are these real stories?
I'm sorry, banging's too much. I can't concentrate. I close the app abruptly. Dahlia is just getting ready to respond. I move directly to the... I see a beautiful woman and her son struggling to get a chair up the stairs of our walk-up, banging against the stairs. I watch them struggle for a moment.
Topher, put your end down.
Mom, there's a weird guy watching us.
I pull the kill mask off and throw it in my apartment. Here, let me help you guys.
Oh, thank you.
We don't need your help, mister.
I pause and look at the little guy in the eye. I know you're a big kid, but your mom is tired. I would appreciate it.
Thank you.
Walk-ups are tough, and I hate noise. I take the chair the rest of the way up and into the apartment across the hall. Is there anything else heavy that will bang the walls I can help with?
Yes, please. Thank you so much. We can't afford any movers, and I have no family in the area. We picked up some furniture from the rummage store. My name is Cecilia, as in Lou Cecilia, but call me Cecilia. And that is Topher.
I don't come out much, but I'm glad to help.
I used to say, I can make an enemy when you can make a friend.
Sounds like your grandpa was a smart man.
He was.
I want my bed next. Come on, Max. My mom can do the kitchen stuff.
Topher grabs his hand and walks out the apartment door. Cecilia smiles and walks to the window to watch them bring the bed parts from the truck. Time elapses as we move stuff in to the apartment in various rooms, stopping and talking. Sunlight tells the passage of time as shadows translate across the room. I stand outside in the background. A large mirror leans against the wall behind Cecilia. My reflection can be seen.
Thank you so much. You have made this move-in the best move-in, and I've had more than most. I think we'll get some pizza.
My reflection looks directly at me, drawing my eye contact. My reflection smile turns creepy, distorting to resemble Kill. Its hands sprout knives from its fingers, and its hands are sliding over her shoulder and around her waist in the reflection. I look at Cecilia.
He is not staying for dinner.
I need to get back into my work anyhow. Deadlines are hell. Cecilia watches as I turn and enter my apartment.
Mom!
Cecilia closes the door. My evil reflection lingers in the mirror inside my apartment. I lean against the front door and I turn my head to stare at the reflection in the coat rack mirror. That's why I don't go places. You were thinking it. What was I thinking? Why in their mirror? I sit down at my drafting desk. Turning on music, I grab a Buddha-shaped water bong for a hit. You've been away from the boards too long. Finish the story, then you can have time with your whore and the brat. I choke on the smoke. What the fuck? That's not good language to talk about a single mother and her son. I refuse to draw until you apologize. My left knee starts to bob up and down. I stare at the unfinished page. Blue lines mark where I'll draw next. My forehead is beaded with sweat as I struggle not to draw.
Fine.
I retract my... Now draw. My hand shoots to the inking brush. I dip the bristles. I wipe the excess ink off the bristles. Then I stroke a line on the page. Side note, contrary to popular belief, inking is not tracing. No, it's the act of revealing the truth of the pencil lines. I do all the work in my graphic novels. Blob-looking thumbnails to plan the pages. Then I line up a page with non-photo blue pencil. Why, you ask? Because I don't like to erase. And when I scan lines. Till is silent normally while I'm doing this process. I hum. I feel increasingly relaxed as I settle into the rhythm of stroke, dip, wipe, stroke, dip, wipe. Cecilia's pretty hot. Yes, you seem to think so. I'm inking a 4-panel page. Panel 1, Killboy is walking down the streets of the city. Second panel, I paint in 2 men-shaped silhouettes threatening Killboy with panel. Killboy smiles. In the final panel of the page, I start slashing speed lines from Kill's knife fingers, and then the shape of Kill's materializing snarling face, framed by black horn flames streaming off his head, totally calm like a junkie who's had his fix. I lean back to admire the work I've done. What are you trying to do with him anyhow? The squishy one and the turtling. Life is great how it is. Kill is always an intrusive thought unasked. Kill? Page, please. I pick up the pencil. Only my weed dealer and the DoorDash driver have seen my face until today. It's not dating material. I draw Kill, with one villain dead on the ground, blood pooling. The other lifted off the ground, impaled on Kill's arm. You know nothing about the DoorDash driver. They could be perfect for you. They have body parts. I stop drawing to get a drink. Kill's face is speaking from the page as I walk away. I was joking. She's attractive by their ratios, that neighbor hope. A head, arms, squishy bits, hips, legs. Why does she have a child and no man? What is she hiding, huh? Shut up. I close my eyes. I'm grown, I'm alone, I'm free. I hear no evil, speak no evil, touch no evil. I stand up, turning off the light. Go right to bed. Internal coin laundry room, golden hour. Cecilia is standing next to the washing machines and starting to... I start to back out.
Hey, Max. You like to do laundry early? The washers are ready for you.
Well, thanks. Not normally, but I had to get some stuff done today. I just wandered off my plate. I explain as I load the washer. I use lavender scented soap.
I like that you do laundry with scented soap. Your mother taught you right.
Thanks. I was raised. Once I could buy what I wanted, and I read about aromatherapy and whatnot, so I use different scents for different parts of my laundry. It helps me with my anxiety, like patchouli for my day clothes, lavender for my bed sheets.
I thought patchouli was to cover up the weed smell. How does it help with anxiety?
By covering up the weed smell. Max's apartment. I open the door, walk in. Cecilia heads down the hall to her apartment. Thank you for an adventurous day. Cecilia smiles, closing the door. My reflection in the mirror is staring at me. I said, date after finish. Now. Calm down, I'm back, I'm refreshed, I'm ready to concentrate. I close my eyes to draw. I continue drawing a mirror in the hallway behind Cecilia as she's closing the door. I draw in the reflections of Kill, all bloody, staring back at me. The drawings animate. The lines become more erratic. I travel through your mind to the mirrors. They have this one in the hallway, this one in the bathroom. Cecilia's character is sitting on the toilet next to the sink. Kill is watching. This one down the hall, and this one in Topher's room. Kill is looking at Topher through a 4-foot cheap mirror. Topher's animated character form is sleeping on the bed, tossing in night terrors. I love that taste. That boy's pain is delicious. Only yours is better. I open my eyes, my dream drawn in front of me. Shocked, I stand quickly to move to the mirror by the door. My reflection is normal. I'm grown, I'm alone, I'm free, and this is not for me. Out the front door and check. I bang on Cecilia's door. Topher is screaming on the other side. The door swings open. Cecilia, The world goes black. I wake in a hospital room. A nurse enters the hallway with a cart covered in with a covered dermatologist mirror.
Calm. Reduce your energy. Now is the time for gratitude. You are alive, and we feel you'll have a minimal scar.
Water, please. Sipping signal. Wait, scar?
Out of your throat, staples on the exterior. Don't turn your head yet. Wait until the staples come out.
The nurse places a cup on the bedside.
Here's a pencil and pad for you to write questions.
All right. Nurse, will I be able to play the trombone?
Could you before?
No. Smiley face. Sorry, best humor I got right now. Can I see, please?
Okay.
She removes the mirror cover and then adjusts the mirror until my face comes into view. It's red. Shiny steel staples like a zipper across my face. All right, what happened?
At this point, we need to wait for a social worker to see you. As per your lawyer's instructions, we haven't allowed law enforcement near you while you're in and out of medication. You can rest for a while.
All right, leave the mirror, please.
Certainly. But remember, pain medication is the white button, and to call me is the red button.
I watch the nurse walk out. Kill in the mirror. Hey, look at me. That points to the nurse. My reflection looks at me before Max turns his head. My reflection is snarling at me. Look at you. Not even your dad did you this bad. If I hadn't stepped in, you would be dead now. You know, when I get out, the destruction will be indiscriminate. My thumb keeps tapping the white button. His reflection continues as my heart rate goes wild in the monitor. But you are alive, my host. I will deliver you from anything. Go to sleep, host. You must heal and finish the book. No more of your out. Interior of Max's apartment. I'm alone at my drafting desk. I'm drawing, inking a splash page. Kill, slicing through a woman. Decapitated child is laying on the floor. And Killboy is hiding behind the doorway. My face scar is healing, raw, red, and puckered. I'm grown. I'm free to remain alone. Kill. You are a Kill's boy, and no one but me is meant to have you. Draw, always draw. Nancy. You forgot your chair.
Oh, that's okay. I'm just no, this is great. This is great. That was great.
Thank you.
That was great. I love the way that it is. Perfect. This is a perfect space to have this kind of thing too.
Yeah, pretty raw.
Yeah, but that's what this is about, right? Well, okay. Closing out your segment, I just want to ask, what do you want to leave these people with in this project, and how can they help you support this project? But also, what do they expect to come? Timeline and stuff.
I feel weird, like you guys are. Let me stand there.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, at the bar, there's if you pay $25, you can get a T-shirt. These guys print the T-shirts, so you're helping out the gallery, and then the rest of the proceeds help offset pre-production funding for the film. The money goes to lawyers And I eventually don't want to do all the work by myself. I want to hire people and pay them because I've done enough free work in my life as an artist. I want to pay artists to help me make this vision happen, and it'll take probably almost 100 of them between building sets and makeup and paying actors and then the animation part, which the film is like 40%